Your Excellency, thank you for coming to our office. I know you have come with a lot of issues, but I know there are some immediate ones that we are aware about. We know we have two failed transformers in Benin on a fault that we know may lead to the failure of the transformer. So they should know the cost it. Now, when we finish all our testing and we discover that the transformer cannot come back, we actually wrote them again, and they said they have to pay for the transformer. And I think they agree that they are going to pay, but we are not going to wait for them, sir. We have taken a decision that we are moving 60 MVA from Irua to Benin. We are moving 60 MVA from Irua to Benin. And we have also concluded, I just finished talking with the PAMSEC. I'm going to write a letter to the governor of Bayelsa State. We have 40 MVA transformer there at Bayelsa, which is a mobile transformer, and we are not using it. Yeah, of course, Bayelsa is saying they want it installed in another place, but it's for us to decide whether there's need for transformer in one place or the other. We know there's a political issues around it, but as I told you, I've told the PAMSEC to manage the political side. I'm going to write a letter to the governor that we are moving the transformer. And actually it's going to be temporary, because under our transmission rehabilitation and expansion program, we have a plan to rehabilitate and upgrade both substations in Benin. So even the mobile transformer, by the time we completed this our rehabilitation, it will not be needed. So if Bayelsa people want it again, we can move it back to them. It doesn't matter. So that's what we intend to do. So the problem that are in Benin are actually temporary on our own side. Moving the transformer in Irua is not a problem, because currently we don't have constraint in Irua. We also have planned under the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program, which has been advertised, to upgrade Irua by adding another 100 MVA. So moving that 60 MVA does not change anything. Also, currently, Abo is supplied from Irua. And Abo has a substation, but Benin Disco is not taking load from that substation. So what we are doing now, I'm writing to Benin Disco today and tell them that we want you to disconnect Abo from Irua, because it doesn't make sense for you to give them low voltage that will come from a distance when they have a supply inside Benin. And our intention is to be copying everybody so that everybody will know the mess that other people are doing. So we're going to copy Minister and copy everybody in that case. So, Your Excellency, let me give you a chance to hear you before I tell you about what we are doing.
I want to thank you very, very much for the opportunity this morning to come in and sit with you. We should have come here much earlier, but somehow we just found out that because of your very proactive nature, you've always come to us either in our offices in Abuja or in Benin. I also want to use this opportunity to thank you for the amazing, and I mean amazing work that you've done on the transmission lines, on transmission across the country, particularly in Edo State. When we spoke about a year and a half ago, when you just resumed and you were telling me about the dreams after the issues with Manitoba and what you planned to do, I said, here they come again. They'll just talk and talk and talk and nothing will happen. But to my greatest surprise, you have executed. I was with you in Okula. I worked with you on the Auchi substation. I know what you're trying to do in Irua. And we are very, very proud of what you have done in a short period of time. And I want to assure you that one of the reasons I'm here is to say, look, you have a state that is prepared and willing to partner with you to ensure success. We understand that we are perhaps the backbone, as a state, we're the backbone of the grid, and a lot is expected of us. But unfortunately, because of the way we run institutions over the years, there's that collaboration and that intrinsic cooperation where information is shared, plans are shared between the national and sub-national institutions. We've not made as much progress as we should have. Today, it's just a courtesy call. I know I had problems having in the dark, but I didn't want to, that's not the main reason. We know what our problems are. Thank God, we're beginning to address them. One of the things I'm in Abuja to do is to invite the President to come and commission the Azura power plant, which I hope he will be doing in the next 2 weeks. And to demonstrate that, yes, the transformation, the power transmission is working. Generation is no longer the problem. Transmission is not the challenge. Biggest issue we have is on the distribution lines, the last mile, and we need to be sincere with ourselves and take very drastic decisions about. And when we accuse some of the distribution companies, particularly the one that's serving us, as grossly incompetent and inept, people think that, oh, we shouldn't talk like that. But I mean, I'm not even talking about their inability to invest in their networks to supply us power. I'm saying their sheer incompetence to perform, which now even affects your own systems. So it's much deeper, and I think it's something which we must deal with very, very urgently. Because as a state government, I'm doing all I can that's within my control. I'm providing security, I'm providing schools, you know, the federal government is supporting, trying to cater to the most vulnerable in our society. But those areas, the area of power, especially the last mile, is out of my control. So there's nothing I can do. So I could do all of this, attract industry, attract businesses, but if there's no electricity for them to work, what happens? I mean, so that's one reason why we've decided to now collaborate with you much closer. A couple of things we're looking at. First, we were fortunate, I mean, after the resistance from the disco, we last week got a first license as an eligible customer. So I believe it's one of the first licenses that's been granted. So we've broken the jinx. Because we realize there's quite a lot of power generation between Azura and Ihobo, that's about, ideally it should be about 900 megawatts. We want to see how we can now work with you to power our processing centers, where we just, you know, if you can give us, you know, like you're doing with in Ihobo, for instance, you can give us direct into a location. We then organize every other utility in that location, water, fiber, you know, security, and just get people to come in there and instantly begin to use electricity and produce. So it's not, you know, not a fancy, we're not going to wait to build fancy, large-scale industrial estates. Yes, we're doing one in Obuaka, by the way, that's why this is happening. You might find out that you're increasing that to the 100, even though we have independent generation, but the strategy is to get you to help us transmit on your 132 kV lines. We want to do this similar thing in Ukula. We want to do the similar thing in Auchi, and where you already have your substations. So if we can just buy dedicated, you know, and we are looking at 132 and just drop them in situ. We can now bring people in there to consume and work and use the power there. That's the only way we can fast track. So we don't know what to do, the process, the application process, so we've identified the areas, we've identified the sites, so we can begin to work on them. And we believe in the next 90 days, 120 days maximum, we should be able to get 4 locations going. Even if it's just for processing, for storage, you know, the other issue we wanted to talk about was we've done an audit, and we are very, very worried about the amount of encroachment on your lines. You know, we have the largest, like you said, the largest networks, and it's like your lines are, you know, the power lines are now homes, you know, for all sorts of things, businesses, and we are very, very concerned because of the danger it poses to our people. We also have identified some of the bases, what's the thing the foundation towers or your towers. Some of them need to be reinforced in some areas because, you know, they've been eroded because of erosion and flood. We are concerned that, you know, if we don't do something and, you know, urgently in some of those areas, we have impending disasters. And we want to appeal to you that, you know, we will have a team, we have the reports. I thought we sent some of the reports to you earlier on. You would send to your Benin office, we're prepared to. The other thing we have is that we've done a flyover. So we have aerial images and photographs we can give you on your network in our state. So it's an area you know, the health and safety issue related to your investments is something we're very concerned about. a few issues and cases where people claim that they were not paid compensation and they therefore refused to move from, under the lines. We'll also have those cases documented, which we want to review with you. Then the issue of compensation on your lines. As you know, there's a whole compensation racket in your business. So it's helpful to let us know early on where you want to traverse, where your lines are going to traverse. We won elections in those communities. We have people on ground in those communities. Please let us know up front so that we can go ahead and pre-negotiate and have conversations on relief and right-of-way payments, so that we avoid the sort of situation we've seen in some cases. It's important. We know that electricity is one of the key advantages we have as a state, and we're very keen on ensuring that we capitalize on that advantage and expand the availability and use in our state. I believe that is all I have I would like to raise. But the House is here. I want to thank you. We have a 110-hectare facility where we started the Benin Technical College. That's cool. What we're trying to do, because we have this challenge with human trafficking and illegal migration, and that is why, for us, it's not a luxury. We don't have time pontificating about how to employ people. No, we're losing thousands of children, of our kids, annually. And so if we do not start to put them to work and give them hope, the disaster will just continue. So that's one reason why we are in a hurry. I know you've approved a 33 kVA line from Benin North into Benin Technical College, where we need about 25 to 30 megawatts. We will appreciate if it is possible to give it to us on a 132 kVA line, so that we can drop it directly. There's a technical school. We're going to be training with the World Bank and a few people who've gotten the financing. It's almost ready with workshops in all areas of construction, technology, mechatronics, and all that. We hope to train about 2,000 to 5,000 kids out of that school every year. But next door, we're creating, like I said, a mini industrial park where companies can locate and produce and hire, manpower, and so these children have place to go and get practical skills. That is due for opening sometime in March or June next year. So if it is something you can help us with, let that be your own corporate social responsibility to helping us stop trafficking. We will really, really appreciate that as a project. Once again, I want to thank you for the cooperation, for the support, for the belief in us, and to assure you that the Edo State Government is there with you. It's because we can appreciate the amount of progress we've made, and we want to use this opportunity to thank our president again. I am not surprised, because I've told people, and as I said in Okula, it's only when we have had the fortune of having him, President Buhari, manage and hold, you've given him opportunities in Nigeria, that we've seen significant improvement in our infrastructure. Whether it was when he was minister in petroleum, in those days, that's how we built our petroleum network, or when he was briefly president, or when he became chairman of PTF. If you just look at those eras he's occupied, those are the times we have made the most significant progress in terms of building infrastructure in this country. So I want to use this opportunity to also reiterate our gratitude to him for giving people like you the opportunity, and to assure you and assure Nigerians that by the grace of God, all we've started will be consolidated in the next few years years to come. Once again, I want to thank you, appreciate you, and say that you don't need to make a presentation. We already know enough of what you are doing. What we are asking of you is to come and use us more, use more of the resources we have. Let us know ahead of what you're planning to do, and we are prepared to partner with you all the way. in everything you want to do in Edo, and you've seen it. Just let us know your expansion plans, where you're going, what you need to do, and we'll be there with you. Thank you very much.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for more information on the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.